Alright, we are back again with another unboxing. These have been coming in quite frequently, and there's probably going to be a little break after this because they're not the cheapest things to collect. My wife got me this awesome 6-scale hot toy Bo-Katan Kryze, and she also helped me redo the Star Wars wall in my office. We took everything down, took all the shelves down, dusted everything, cleaned it up, put up the LED lights, and reorganized everything so it's nice and clean. Buys me a little bit of time before I have to add more shelves and more storage. I think it looks great. As with everything, Hot Toys, super excited to get into it, loving the artwork. I love that they don't take something from the actual show or movie and put it on the box, but that is an actual picture of the toy. Look at the molding on the face. I mean, it looks like Katee Sackhoff. This looks like live-action Bo-Katan. It's just incredible. I'm impressed every time. Once again, incredible artwork. Obviously, effects and things are added, but that is the figure. Forgot to mention at the top, but stick around to the end because I have another little mini bonus unboxing. There she is in all of her well-packed glory. She's got her akimbo pistols, her knife, a comlink, a couple blast effects. You have the very detailed helmet sculpt and also the incredibly well-detailed Katee Sackhoff head sculpt. I'm not sure which one I want to use. I really like the action poses, but that facial sculpt was looking really good. Numerous options for hands, so you can have her doing whatever you need. And then Sideshow's always good about putting in extra joints and things if you're changing out the hands and things wear out or break over time. One thing I never thought I would end up doing when I very first started collecting these Sideshow Collectibles was actually looking at the instruction manuals, but they've gotten so advanced. You can move the characters' eyes, the lightsaber characters, even the Darth Vader I have up there, have USB-C things hidden on their backs, or you put little battery packs somewhere in the background, and you can hook them up so the lightsabers light up, the packs light up. It all looks phenomenal. Bo-Katan doesn't have any light-up bits, but there's a lot of options on display and a lot of pieces of armor, so it's probably going to come in handy. There's also some extra detailing. Looks like a railing with some lights on it, so that's very cool. I like it when they do just those little touches more. Some of them have come with cardboard backdrops. My Lando one is still up there. I had one for Ahsoka and for the armor, and I ended up taking them down because the way I have all my collectibles lined up, the backdrops got in the way of the other statues' displays. It didn't look terrible, I just think it looks cleaner without them, especially with the added lights and the Star Wars wallpaper on the wall. The stick to pose her, this goes in the back and there's a clamp that holds her up. It is flexible, which is fantastic, so you can put her in any position and it holds. Some of the older ones, the stick was a little bit more rigid and they just kind of stand there with something like cupping their groin basically to keep the figure upright. This is much more in-depth. The base is a little bit on the light side. I like a heavier base so that if there's a little bit of the house shake, nothing falls. Luckily, my Hot Toys are all in pretty good condition, but I have had a couple things fall off the shelves when there was more stuff and less organization, and a couple of my Iron Studios paid the price. This is interesting. Instead of having a metal plaque on the front, or metal-feeling plastic at least, like many of the other ones, this Bo-Katan Kryze holographic is a sticker. Seems like a strange place to save a buck when you're putting out a $300 figure. Now I have to make sure I get it lined up exactly right or it'll drive me crazy every single time I look at it. When it's on, it is pretty convincing. It looks good, it was a strange little detail to change. I'm going to be changing out the hands so she can hold both pistols. The dual pistols is one of the coolest things. There's no Darksaber in this set. The very brief amount of time she got to use it when Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, was captured by that weird thing with the giant suit in the Mines of Mandalore was pretty awesome, especially when she got the buckler out. The guns look really good. The wood grain detail, I'm not sure if this camera is going to pick it up good enough, is pretty convincing. The coloring's pretty good, and the hands are semi-flexible so it can hold it, and the finger even lines up with the trigger guard. When I say semi-flexible, I mean almost flexible. It's kind of hard to get the gun in there, but I guess the benefit is it doesn't fall off. I'm just always so paranoid I'm going to break something on these, because I would just hate myself if I did that. Definitely was easier to get the gun in the hand with the hand off the arm and then just pop it right back onto the ball and socket joint. The The armor pieces are semi-flexible as you turn the arms to pose the figure, because the core armor pieces are held on with Velcro. They're not just going to fall off on their own, but it is flexible. Kind of jumped the gun, no pun intended on that, and started posing her before we went over the exact figure. These armor pieces are held on with some Velcro so that you can move the figure around and there's a little bit of give. I'm trying to show you the lift under my finger there. The material all feels really good. The stitching is pretty cool in it. You can really see the detail. I'd imagine if you're a cosplay fan, you could get something like this and draw it out yourself. I don't know how to sew, but I feel like this would be helpful because it's a lot of attention to detail on it. These pieces as well held on with Velcro. There's a thicker material here above the boot than is on the pants up here. Thicker still for the faux leather holsters that are pretty convincing. There's some give to them and some softness to it. These I thought were going to be molded plastic before I took it out. They are actually that same molded leather feeling, and there's something, nothing decorative, nothing worth showing, but there's something in the pouches to give them some structure so you don't just push on it and it caves in. Just playing with different ways. I thought it'd be cool to get the jetpack. It has these blast effects, so the jetpack actually looks like it's flying. I thought it'd be cool to get a little bit of a flying back thing going, but I don't want it to look goofy with her just kind of falling backwards. They always come with so many extra accessories, and then the accessories end up in the box in my attic, so the more I can get on there, the better. The way her shoulder pauldron is concaved, the Velcro is going under her main jumpsuit for her chest piece, so the Velcro's not really holding it, but if the gun's too low, it doesn't look right. Here's a look at the instruction booklet. If you've ever had a Hot Toys, it's nothing you haven't seen before. I like that the antenna can move. The guns actually do fit in the holsters if you don't use them. And then it's how to assemble the stand and the railing that goes on behind it. Even this pose is pretty cool, the one that was on the box with the head sculpt, and I really like the head sculpt. I kind of want to keep the Mandalorians in action. This is just showing how to change out the head, how to change out the hands, how to put the knife in the wrist, which is cool, and how to add the blast effects to the jetpack. This one has no light up features or anything, and I'm totally fine with that, especially now that I have lighting on my wall. There's this clamp. It's got some padding on the inside to not scuff up the figure. I just have to figure out how to get it around her waist with the packs, the blast effects, the holsters, the side armor. It kind of just is going to grab everything. I might have to take the blast effects off to get the clamp on and then put it all back together. Unfortunately, the blast effects don't fit with the clamp. That's not super well thought out. You can't really put it any higher, the jetpack will be in the way, and any lower, it'll be going around her legs, and you're definitely going to see it. I try to do these things so that the background disappears as much as possible for a figure set up on a shelf. I guess to that logic, you're not really going to see the blast effects that much either, are you? We're going to go ahead and try it. If it doesn't work out, they can go back in the box, and I'll figure out another pose. I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to hold her up without it just falling forward and looking lame. Yeah, not loving it. I'm not loving it. It just kind of looks like the toy fell. It looks kind of cheesy to me. We're going to forego the blast effects and just get her standing in some kind of cool action pose with the guns raised. We tried. It's a nice thought. I'm sure someone online has figured out a good way to do it. I didn't really love it. I don't put the boxes in my attic straight away. I look at them during work and while I'm editing videos and things for a few days to make sure I'm happy with the pose. And not just for my position at the desk over there, but when I'm recording videos, I try to look where the camera's going to be back so that if people are looking at the background, and in some ways I hope you do, it looks pretty good. Got her set up, not sold on it yet. We'll do some close-ups and figure it out. The railing does not attach to the base, it just slides up next to it. It looks decent and complete, but they're both pretty lightweight. Even like a little magnet would have gone a long way. I feel like for what people pay, this kind of nitpicking is almost necessary. I guess it's not too bad. I wanted a little bit of like walking forward action. The feet pivot at the ankle joint, so you can kind of get that. The boot doesn't crease, so it looks slightly stiff, but now I'm really getting into the minutia, and it is still a figure, so I'm pretty satisfied with it. I think she's gonna go on the shelf for a couple days, and we can reassess. This is probably the view I want from the shelf. There she is, Bo-Katan Kryze, as portrayed by Katee Sackhoff. Started in the Clone Wars, made by Dave Filoni and George Lucas, and I'm pretty sure the original Bo-Katan animated version was based on Dave Filoni's wife, who had a similar hairstyle and would look a lot like Katee Sackhoff. The way I heard it, Katee Sackhoff was wanted for the role before a live-action role was even seriously being discussed, so that's pretty awesome. And she is an actress with a ton of geek cred that geeks like me really like her body of work. Even the back where you're not going to see it a lot, I mean, look at the scuffing on the helmet, it just looks so good. All the detailing in the leather. The leather being worn might actually be a little bit cooler, but again, I tend to nitpick because of the cost of them, but I don't want to be absurd about it. I have nothing to complain about. This is a fantastic statue. My only actual complaint is I wish the base had a little bit more heft, just because the house is shaken once or twice. We don't really get earthquakes here, but things happen, and I don't want it to come crashing down. There we have it. Hot Toys 1/6 scale Bo-Katan Kryze, looking awesome, up with the rest of the Mandoverse Sideshow Collectibles that I have. Huge thanks to my wife, that was an amazing Christmas present. The wall is looking great. All right, you still with me? We have this little bonus unboxing to do. My father-in-law got me this Hallmark keepsake Darth Vader in chamber. I thought it was a Christmas ornament when I saw Hallmark, because I have a couple Hallmarks on my Christmas tree. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure this is gonna stay in my office year-round because, according to the box, it looks pretty freaking cool. This is the first unboxing I've ever done where the cats aren't here going wild, which makes me worry, what are they getting into while I'm in here doing this? Okay, it is a snow globe, so it's a little bit Christmassy, but it's more awesome Darth Vader than it is Christmas, so great choice. Darth Vader chamber water globe with light and sound. So, not a snow globe. I'm really trying to justify this not being a Christmas decoration because I want it to stay out year-round. Right off the bat, it's got weight to it, so I like that. Anything that goes on a shelf, I want to have some weight to it, and it also feels pretty cool. I thought this was metal, the sound it was making when I was trying to take it off. It's not, it's plastic, but it's got some rigidity to it without it snapping. I'm sure if you really pressed on it, it would, but this is not gonna break by accident. The cats could even kind of mess with it. They like to check out new things. I don't think it's gonna be going anywhere. Got a nice close-up of it. The base is very cool. It's where all the electronics and stuff are. It's got many steps up. The meditation chamber with the two-tone paint on the inside-outside. You can see Darth Vader in there meditating. Very cool. There are some plastic supports here in the back. Pretty thick. I didn't even notice them right away. So when you're staring at it from the front, they really do a good job blending in. You can see them, but they don't jump out and ruin the illusion of this thing being open or lifted from the ceiling. It does have some nice detailing on top. The nice 360 of it. This is a pretty cool piece that I would not have even thought to look for from Hallmark. Let's see what it does. That would be nothing, because there's no batteries. Okay, got some batteries in it. It has an on-off switch, so the batteries don't just get worn down, but you're probably not gonna be pressing it that much anyway. This is what it does.
This will be a day long remembered.
He has a few different catchphrases.
Impressive. Most impressive.
I like it. I don't necessarily need the little things going around in there, but it is a water globe of Darth Vader, so that's gonna happen.
It is your destiny.
And I gotta say, for a little tabletop thing, I don't know how well it's coming through the microphone, the sound quality is not bad. So, huge thank you to my wife for the 6-scale Hot Toy Bo-Katan, and huge thanks to my father-in-law for this cool Hallmark Darth Vader. I never would have guessed Hallmark and a cool Darth Vader piece that's gonna be in my office all year round. I'm gonna ignore the fact that it's a snow globe. Thanks for watching. Check out this video next to dive back into Star Wars lore.